Today, on Be Something Wonderful, assume it and it must be. There is no other law and there is no other power. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Here we are with another big video here along the Mekong Delta in Vietnam in the city of Cu Ta. I had a session this morning with a client that had questions about fear. Again, really inspired by the last few videos, that fear is a sort of a necessary part of duality. And I will agree that fear is a part of duality. Whether it's a necessary part is up to you. And here's what a subscriber said on the channel and in comments. Fear is the opposite of love. Simple things in life are very hard to teach. We try to make life more complex than it needs to be. And here's the thing, and I commented on this, and I'm highlighting this because I believe a lot of you believe that. Just like my client this morning, that it's an opposite, that it's there. But the love I'm talking about has no opposite. It's God. It's absolute. It's infinity. There is no opposite at the highest realm. It's the I of the I am. There is no opposite there. And listen to the assumptions here. Simple things in life are very hard to teach. That's just an assumption. So things will seem very hard to teach for you. And we try to make more life complex. That's your assumption. That we try to make life more complex. None of that, that's all your truth. And there's nothing wrong with that. But remember, those are just assumptions, right? That fear is not the opposite of love. Love has no opposite. Fear is made up. Fear is a thought. And that's all it is. And it's temporary, it's changing, it comes and it goes, and so it's not real. It's the unreality. Right? Love is the only reality. This goes along with a couple other videos. And guys, just to know that in the membership channel, I have another video following this that's along those lines, but bigger. So remember, love, God, the absolute, all that is, has no opposite. There's nothing to teach because there's nothing to learn. Hear this, we're not here to learn lessons. We're here to remember who we are. We're here to remember that we are a God consciousness, that we are an individualized aspect of God consciousness, here to condition it, here to determine how we want to experience all that is. That's why we're here. That's why the ancients said, be still and know that I'm God. And that's why in Scripture, this really encompasses all. In Him we live and we move and we have our being. In other words, in Him we live, right? We move and have our being. We think, we feel, we assume, we experience that one absolute love. That's what that means there. It's one life, it's one energy, it's one being. I just want to hit this a little bit more. The world of perception, this is what A Course in Miracles says. The world of perception is the world of time, of change, of beginnings and endings. It's based on interpretation, not facts. Do you see it? I get it. We want to talk about it like it's a fact. Like fear is a fact. Doubt is a fact. Non-fulfillment is a fact. But those are all made up. There are no facts. There's just the absolute unity and guarantee of perfection and fulfillment. That's who we are. That's the only reality. Everything else is a partial and incomplete perception of all that is and all that you are. I really want to hit this, right? There are no facts. There's no fiction. There's only what you assume and believe. And this is what A Course in Miracles goes on to further say. It's the world of birth and death, founded on the belief in scarcity, loss, separation, and death. Do you hear it? None of those exist. That's all thoughts. And remember, when you think, you're thinking in the divine mind. But God never sees any of that. God knows nothing of scarcity, nothing of loss, nothing of separation. If God knew it, God would become it, and that's impossible. That's why God knows nothing of that. God's all-knowing, knowing that that doesn't exist, right? Only this isness. It's really, we're talking about the real versus the unreal, love versus fear, life versus death, knowing versus perceiving. But there's only reality. There's only love. There's only life, and there's only knowing. Everything else is a limited, incomplete seeing of all that is and all that you are. It's an unreality, fear, death, and those partial perceptions. So There's only one source. There's only one law. There's only one love. 111, as Ernest Holmes would say, right, from Science of the Mind. That's why it is called the absolute, and all that is. There's only one of it. There can't be two absolutes. There can't be two sources. There can't be two powers. There's only one truth, one power, one unity. And when you say fear is the opposite of love, you are believing or implying there are two powers. There are two gods. There are two sources. There's two unities. There's two infinities. There can't be. There's one source, one infinity, one power. You can't divide up God, right? And within that one is everything. And you, as an individualized consciousness, individualized aspect of that God consciousness, you have all power, all knowing, all that is running through you. Not partial power, not partial knowing, but all knowing. And every part of God is the whole. That's the power we're talking about. Truth is unalterable, eternal, and unambiguous. It can be unrecognized, but it can't be changed. Hear this. It can be unrecognized. You can believe in opposites. You can create opposites, but that one that you are, that unity, that love can't be changed. It applies to everything that God created. And only what he created is real. Love is the only thing, God's the only thing that's real. It has no opposite, no beginning, no end. It merely is. That's powerful. So let's continue this. I am is the highest expression of love, of this absolute unity and isness. So your I am is the highest expression of that unity, of that absolute energy of God, that absolute love of God, right? It's that isness. It's untouched, it's unchanged, it's untainted by any temporary condition, any temporary perception, any temporary thought, feeling, belief, or assumption. It's untouched by the messy middle. Right? And when you say love, fear is the opposite of love, you're implying that middle where things change, where things are fleeting, right? Fear, doubt, and all perceived negative conditions is to imply the impossible, that I am not. It's not possible. I am not is not possible. It's just I am. But when you imply that there is fear and that there is an opposite, the fear is love or doubt or all perceived negative conditions and emotions, you're implying the impossible. I am not. There's only source energy. There's only one energy, one source, and one love. And when you put those through filters of limiting beliefs, limiting assumptions, right? Anything like that, you feel that one energy, that one emotion, that one love as something other than love, right? And that's what we call negative emotion. That's your source, your inner being, your I amness telling you, you're thinking, feeling, or believing something that's not true, right? Assume it and it must be. That's the conversation I had with my client this morning. Absolutely assume it and it must be. There's no other law. There's no other power than you. You are all law. You are all power. That's what we're talking about. Guys, coming up, a big video on the membership channel following this one. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for being part of the membership channel. Guys, don't forget we have a Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. You can join that and share insight and guidance with others or ask for insight and guidance. And we have an Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, or just go to our website anytime at tomkearin.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com. This is Tom Kearin with the Be Something Wonderful studio on the Mekong Delta in Vietnam, coming to you today on a gorgeous day in the city. More content coming with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. This is Tom. See you soon.